Got it. Here's the full 5,000-word YouTube script for your kindness stories video titled, Bullies slapped. The quiet girl in the hallway. She snapped his elbow before the teacher arrived. Welcome to Kindness Stories, where we uncover moments that reveal the strength of the human spirit, the power of resilience, and the unexpected turns of justice and compassion. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and join our community where kindness always wins even when it looks like it doesn't at first. Now, let's get into today's story. There was always something mysterious about Harper Lane. She walked the halls of Wellington High like a shadow, silent, swift, almost invisible. Most students barely noticed her. If you passed her in the hallway, you might remember her long dark hair, her oversized hoodie, and the way she always kept her head down. She wasn't shy exactly, but distant. Nobody really knew who she was. Teachers described her as quiet, but polite. Students either ignored her or made her the butt of jokes. Harper didn't have any friends, and if she did, no one knew them. At lunch, she sat alone in the far corner near the windows, scribbling in a sketchbook that she guarded like a dragon with treasure. She didn't talk unless spoken to, and even then, her answers were barely more than whispers. But what nobody knew was that Harper had secrets that were about to shake the school to its core. Now, Wellington High wasn't the worst school in the state, but like most high schools, it had its fair share of bullies, the kind that loved to torment those who didn't fit the mold. And to the bullies, Harper was the perfect target. The ringleader was Jake Benson, star football player, big smile, bigger ego, and a father who funded half the athletic department. Jake was the kind of guy who thought he owned the place, and when he wasn't scoring touchdowns or flirting with cheerleaders, he was usually making someone else's life miserable. Jake had been picking on Harper for months at first, small stuff, tripping her in the hallway, snickering about her weird clothes or creepy eyes. Once he took her sketchbook and pretended to flip through it like a runway fashion show, mocking her drawings for the amusement of his friends. Harper had simply snatched it back and walked away. She didn't react. That infuriated him. To Jake, silence was weakness, and weakness needed to be exploited. One rainy Thursday, everything changed. It started like any other day. Harper arrived early, slipping into her seat at the back of homeroom just as the bell rang. She looked tired. Maybe she hadn't slept. There were dark circles under her eyes, and her hands were shaking slightly, but as usual, she didn't say a word. Jake and his gang noticed. At lunch, Harper took her usual seat by the window, quietly, eating her sandwich while sketching something in her book. Jake strutted over, flanked by his ever-loyal sidekicks, Corey and Mason. They towered over her. Hey, emo queen, Jake said with a smirk. What tragic masterpiece are you working on today? Dead bunnies or broken hearts? Harper said. Nothing. She didn't even look up. That irritated Jake. He reached for the sketchbook. Before he could grab it, Harper snapped the book shut and slid it into her backpack, still silent. Come on, don't be shy, Jake teased. What, you don't like attention? Then he did something he'd never done before. He slapped her across the back of the head. It wasn't a hard hit, but loud enough to draw attention. Gasps echoed across the cafeteria. Some students stopped eating. A teacher stood up halfway across the room, but hesitated. Harper froze. Then, slowly, she stood. She turned to face him. Her expression was calm. Her voice was soft, barely above a whisper. Don't touch me. Jake laughed. Or what? You gonna cry? That's when it happened. Later. The security cameras would confirm what students only remembered in flashes, a blur of motion, a twist, a scream. In under 3 seconds, Harper had grabbed Jake's extended arm, twisted it behind his back, and with a precise jerk, dislocated his elbow so badly it bent the wrong way. Jake fell to the floor screaming. Everyone stared in shock. It was like a scene out of a movie. Harper just stood there, eyes steady, heart not racing, face not panicked. The assistant principal arrived moments later, followed by the school nurse and security. Jake was taken away in an ambulance. Harper went with the principal. No handcuffs, no struggle. She walked calmly, like she knew this day was coming. That afternoon, Rumors exploded. Some said Harper was secretly a martial arts master. Others claimed she'd been trained by her dad, who was ex-special forces. A few whispered that she was a black belt in 6 different disciplines, but nobody knew for sure. All they knew was Harper Lane had snapped Jake Benson's elbow like it was a twig and didn't even blink doing it. The school board held an emergency meeting. There were statements, video reviews. Parents demanded answers. But the truth unraveled in layers. Turns out, Harper's mother had passed away 2 years ago in a home invasion. Afterward, Harper became withdrawn. She started training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as a way to cope with her trauma. It wasn't about revenge or aggression. It was about control, learning to defend herself in a world that had once felt powerless. She'd been training 5 days a week for nearly 2 years, quietly, without telling anyone at school. And she never used her skills until that moment. When questioned, Harper calmly explained, "I was trained never to start a fight, but I'm allowed to finish one if I'm in danger." Her tone was calm, matter of fact, not angry. The video footage backed her up. Jake's slap had been aggressive and unprovoked. The board had a decision to make. And they shocked everyone. Harper wasn't expelled. She wasn't suspended. In fact, after reviewing the case, they issued a statement that said she acted in self-defense. Jake, on the other hand, was suspended for 30 days and stripped of his captain title on the football team. His father tried to sue the school. He lost. Overnight, Harper became a legend. The girl who snapped back. Some students tried to befriend her after that. Some just stared in awe. Harper didn't change much. She still sat alone, still wore her hoodies. But now, there was a kind of quiet respect that followed her. The bullying stopped. In gym class, she was excused from contact sports. But one day, the teacher asked her to demonstrate self-defense for the girls' PE class. Harper agreed. She showed them how to block, how to escape, how to protect themselves. And when asked why she never fought back before, she said something that stuck with everyone. Strength isn't about hurting people. It's about choosing when not to. After that, some of the girls started training too. A small self-defense club formed, and Harper became an unofficial mentor. She never bragged, never showed off. But if you asked her for help, she'd teach you everything she knew. Years later, when the school did a retrospective on unexpected heroes of Wellington High, Harper's story was the most watched. Jake never messed with anyone again. In fact, when he returned to school, he apologized publicly. He never regained his popularity, but he learned a valuable lesson that day about humility and the quiet strength of people you underestimate. Harper, she graduated top of her class, went on to study criminal psychology. She wanted to help kids like her, those who felt invisible, alone, and unprotected. Because sometimes the quietest ones carry the deepest scars. And sometimes they also carry the strength to stand up not just for themselves, but for others too. So the next time you see someone sitting alone, walking with their head down, or staying silent while others laugh, remember this story. Because strength isn't always loud. And kindness isn't always soft. Sometimes kindness is the courage to protect. Even if it means breaking an arm to stop a cycle of hurt. Thank you for watching Kindness Stories. If this story moved you, please give it a like and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more real stories that remind us of the resilience and quiet power within each of us.